Morning again. I'm back now with Catalogue Management. How do we go about managing our catalogs? Very interesting. How do you manage your catalog at your workplace? Just answer that question, then it's very interesting. What is catalog management? Where you manage your catalog? How do you do it at your workplace? If you don't manage catalog, how do others do it? Find out. Right. Then e-catalog ensures the quality of product that and its configurability to the buyer's required format. That's it. I suppose it does. It is a dynamic process that enables suppliers to quickly broadcast product and price changes and introduce new items. So it's a marketing tool. Right? E-catalog system. Just define what e-catalog system. A direct translation of paper-based catalogs to the electronic type. Hairstyles gradually change with effect to the type of information they carry and the type of the marketplace, the type of your customers, their requirements. That e-catalog must suit all that. Oh, now is an online product where products and services offered are showered and stored in great quantities, organized and classified in different catalogs, provide information of products and services, price lists offered by vendors, supports online ordering and payment capabilities. All right. So it's still an internet electronic product catalogs. Then you are putting that on the internet so that you are advertising your products. These are the new versions that are online and can integrate with other activities. Just look at the way you are buying cars from Japan. It's a common practice. You are buying cars from Japan. How are they doing it? It's a good example. I'm sure most of us have faced all that and they have done that. Okay? Electronic Catalogue Management System is a system which allows customers to browse through your multimedia product presentations and to get relevant information concerning the product, going through your catalogs. Right. This is no longer paper-based, but computer-based. It's electronized. You have been recognized all these billboards which you see every day on our roads. It's now in the computer. The figure below defines a catalog, e-catalog, as a system with a high volume of interaction and the multimedia information on the internet that has several abilities such as creating, updating, browsing, presenting, and so on. Customizing. In other words, what do this segment of customers want? And I want to provide them what they want. So that's e-catalog. All right. Let's look at the diagram and see how it goes. There you are. What does it say? Different activities. Create, customize, classify, present, search for what the customers want, browse, go on the internet and you can browse and get whatever you want. You also update, right? Just go along with your customers' feelings or customers' needs or tests. So you can see it's quite related to some of these systems. Supply chain management, which is part of what we are doing. ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, like SAP. We can connect it to that. So it becomes very interesting, isn't it? Electronic Catalogue Management System. I'll give you a video on that so that you also understand. Please remind me if I forget to do that. You need also to go through that video so that you understand what I'm talking about. Right? What are the challenges? We've discussed quite a number of challenges of this subsystem. Do these challenges, do they not apply in some of these cases? Do they not apply? Write down and compare with what I have here. The challenge. Design electronic catalog. It really requires complicated and they require special skills. Do you have the personnel to do that? Then if you hire them, they will be expensive. That's a challenge. Diagnosing class of one product and customizing it to say the Zimbabwean way. Customize it because we also want to catch markets outside Zimbabwe. For the say the Korean market, for the Chinese market. That's a big challenge. Heterogeneity, difference, that's the difference in the system. The systems might be different, isn't it? With different meanings. The time and cost of catalog production then will be quite high. Time and the cost. That's a challenge. You don't want to waste a lot of time. Wasting a lot of time, then it must give you the profits. And look at the cost. Shared ontology, the nature of similarities and differences. Another problem. Not all companies can agree on the classification. Not only companies, not all cultures can agree on certain issues. That's the ontology. What it means in Zimbabwe is very different from what it means even in Nigeria. So those differences makes it very difficult. Modeling presentation of recommended items. Modeling. Just think of that catalog. Just think of that catalog which you view when you are looking at the Japanese cards. That's not something easy for them to come up with that modeling of customers' behavior and say, I think this one is fit for the African situation. I think this one is fit for the Chinese situation, for the Indian situation. Very different. These are different cultures and those people with different cultures and different behaviors, and so what is normal in Zimbabwe might not be normal in China. The other challenge is the recommender algorithm. This is the software used to predict the rating of the customers. How do you rate the customer's preferences? That becomes a big problem again, a challenge. But these things are being done, so you don't have to be hesitant. Evolution. We don't say revolution, but evolution of the systems, evolution of the software being used. These are changes, and you need people who do understand all this. You need people who do understand so that they come up with something meaningful and accepted by different customers. So those are the challenges, but those challenges do not mean that there are no benefits. Think of the benefits, and you tell me what are the benefits of e-catalog. There are many. Write them down and compare with all this which I have here. The time it takes to acquire e-catalog is a fraction opening a computer. It's just a fraction. Rather than printing it, the cost of printing becomes very expensive. E-catalogs are the epitome of being economic friendly, with all the business going green. Economic friendly, going green. We are removing paperwork. We are going green. Talk of the climate changes. Don't cut your trees. You badly need them. Don't cut your trees. You badly need them. How many plantations are still standing in Mtara? That's where we got our paper. The paper milling factories are they still there in Mtara? So why do we have paper shortages? No. You want to print something, it's very difficult, very expensive to get bond paper. So go green. A business can gain benefit from this by utilizing an economic catalog, electronic catalog, and use the flash technology. They don't require paper. So that's a big advantage. Think about the green. Think about your climate change, right? Those are some of the benefits, many of them. Paper catalogs, they have to be emailed, not only emailed, but also printed. That gives us a lot of costs, which we just cut when we use the e-catalog. Each paper catalog is a limit. That is, it can only be at one place, whereas electronic catalog is international, it's everywhere, it's on your cell phone, and so on. That's an advantage. Okay? Social media in the modern days, you can't afford neglecting the social media when you are talking of e-catalog. How it spreads like wildfire. So that's the e-catalog. Use e-catalog. Then it will spread like wildfire. And what it means, getting more profits. Right. Once an e-catalog has been created, uploaded, then you're home and dry. Just think of upgrading it and nothing else. Okay? So the benefits are so many, as I have said. You can read and understand them. Right? Because e-catalog gives you a business clear competitive advantage. Let them do the paperwork, you do the e-catalog, and you are attracting markets all over. This is now a global village. You are attracting customers throughout the global village because they've gone through the e-catalog. So these are some of them. Again, the paper catalog is perishable. And being perishable, look at the e-catalog. Is it perishable? It's not perishable. It's always there, only waiting to be opened, only waiting to be upgraded. Make it attractive. Whereas the paper catalog fades away. Constant printing, constant cutting trees, and so on. So avoid that. All right? So it is that advantage. All right. Right. When designing this, that's why we said the disadvantage is that it's expensive. Designing this, then that's a challenge, as we have said. Okay. How is it a challenge? Just to cite a bit of some examples, some phases. There's one, the phase which we call attribute analysis phase. Electronic catalog system deal with many products, each with its own set of characteristics. Those are the attributes. This makes it difficult, but this is the phase which you must cater for those different characteristics for different products. So that's the first phase. All right? And that's not an easy thing. Vocabulary definition. This is different. As we said, I've already said, the meaning, whatever you mean by a certain word, might be different from what the Chinese mean by the same word. So the vocabulary is very different. So designing so that it's understood by the Chinese, it's understood by the Africans, and in particular the Zimbabwean. Again, that's a process. It's a design phase. That's why we said you need the skilled people to do it for you. Because that vocabulary definition phase is not something which is easy, but it's a phase which needs to be done. All right? Classification. Do we agree on the classification? I think we had pointed out this as a disadvantage. Do we really agree? They need to design the database design to use a standard classification. If it is a standard classification, then it must be international. It must be standard to everyone. Again, that's a phase which they must go through. All right? The product group attribute. That's an assignment. Product group characteristics. Right? That's something which they have to do. The database design actually assigns attributes with the characteristic to each node of the classification. So that's not an easy task, but that's a phase which they must go through so that you've got something which is meaningful, something which is standard. Yeah? Physical data design. Now they are designing a data where you can go through and see your product. That is the phase which they must go and design that the physical, so that it becomes physical, so that it's not, so that it's seen. Okay? They've been planning all along, but that phase is very important for them to do. Right? Right. We can try and simplify this, but simplifying is just a matter of repeating what we have already said, but we are doing it in detail now. All right. This is being done in detail. The planning is really part of the design process. You need to plan the e-catalog. There is a need to plan ahead. That goes inside from product collection to text and images. Decide what products to include and in the e-catalog. You must decide which products. Do you have to put everything in? The designer determines the number of items. Don't overload that catalog. If you overload it, then it's not meaningful to your customers. Okay? Then step 2, catalog design. Basic elements. You must have a product name. You must have a photo. You must short description, specification, size, delivery information, benefits of the product, the price, that which is required by the customer, so that the customer, look at the last bullet point, so that the customer just press the buy button. And there you are. They are now selling your product. And there's a result of catalog design. Okay? Step 3, choose your e-catalog software. This you would only leave it to the designers, to the software developers. You don't have to do anything. But I'm sure they will choose something which is very important. Because I've given some of the leading e-catalog service software, which are given below. FlipSnake, ISU, Joma. So there are so many of them. But the designers and those ICT guys will understand. They will give you what you require. Okay? They will satisfy your needs. Then they need to add some links so that the users can easily do whatever they want. It can be a short text on the button or simply a text below the product description. Buy this, buy now, shop this, look at this. More details are just required. In other words, you're just making it attractive to the. These are some of the steps. That's the step 4. All right. Then step 5, we are almost complete. Is you publish and distribute, and everything will be home and dry. Publish, distribute, and there you're home and dry, isn't it? Right, finish. That's e-catalog. I hope I've answered some of your questions. But what is important is take note of the benefits, take note of the definition. We are talking of e-catalog. We are not talking of catalog, manual catalog, the billboards, the newspapers, and so on. That's what we are not talking about. We are not talking about that. All right. So I hope to meet you in the next slides.